everyone, Kyle here from Pisces Pet Emporium. I'm just going to go through today basic aquarium setup for all those people that haven't had an aquarium or just starting to get into the hobby. First things first, I just want to go through some tips on selecting the proper size aquarium for you. What you want to do when you're looking at aquariums, look at the size and the footprint of the tank to make sure it'll fit in the space you want to put it. Secondly, get a tank as big as you can possibly handle. The larger the tank, the more water space you have for that waste from the fish to dilute into. Once you buy your tank and you get it home, you're going to want to unpack it and make sure that everything is in there that it's supposed to come with. If it doesn't have it in there, you can return it to the store or give us a call and let us know what you're missing. Your next step will be to rinse out any of your gravel media. There's all sorts of different types of media that you can get. There's nice colorful blue gravel, you can do some types of rainbow gravels, and there are more natural rocks that you can put in the bottom, but that's up to you on what you want your tank to look like. So rinse your gravel out and you'll lay it in the bottom of your tank. You can also get other things to dress up your tank, like backgrounds. A lot of these backgrounds you can either tape on, or they sell something called Clearview that allows this to adhere to the back of the tank. So there's this. There's usually come in two sides, so you can kind of choose a side, or if you get bored of a side, you can just really take it off and put a new side up on the tank. A lot of these kits come with filters, heaters, some of them come with. They'll come with your light and your canopy and everything you need to set it up. The only things you really need to get are decorations like your gravel or any ornaments you want to put in the tank, and then you'll have to buy things like air pumps. Make sure you're buying the proper size air pump for your tank. If you buy too small of an air pump, it will not work. You'll get no bubbles coming out of your actual Aquafizz diffusers, or you won't get any bubbles coming out of your bubble walls or your wands or anything like that. So make sure when you're buying an air pump that you're buying the proper size pump for your tank. You'll also need to get tubing, because some of these pumps don't come with it. Tubing comes in multiple lengths. I have a 25-foot length here, and that'll give you more than enough tubing that you'll need for when you're setting up your air pump. Another good thing to get when you're buying an air pump is called a check valve. A check valve allows air to flow one way and not allow water to siphon its way back through into the air pump. You only need a check valve if your pump is sitting below your water level. If you have your air pump above your tank, you won't need a check valve. Other things that you're going to need to purchase when you're actually buying your first tank is water conditioners. So we have the AquaPro Step 1 tap water conditioner. This is going to remove chlorines, chloramines, heavy metals out of the water. We have the AquaPro Step 2, it's Aquarium Set Up and Maintenance. This is a natural bacteria that'll help start your nitrogen cycle, which we'll get into later. And the AquaPro Step 3. This is a waste breakdown and algae reducer. It actually breaks down organic matter from your fish, and it actually starts to use up that same food that algae will grow off of. These come in multiple sizes. I chose the larger ones just so that you could see them a little bit easier. Another good add-on for you to buy when you're setting up your tank is aquarium salt. A lot of people are confused when we say you need salt for your freshwater tank, but this salt is beneficial for all fish. It replenishes electrolytes that the fish need in the water. It'll actually improve the gill function of your fish, allowing them to breathe easier in the water. It'll heal any open wounds or sores on the fish, so if they're getting nipped or if they have any disease too, that helps prevent that and heal up those wounds. So always make sure you're using aquarium salt and follow the directions on the label. Now, there are different filters that come with your actual kits. Some are just a basic filter like the Aquarium that uses a cartridge. So you'll be changing that cartridge every 3 to 4 weeks. So just removing the cartridge, rinsing the new one in cold water, and putting it into the actual filter. Other ones like this Marineland go a step further and they use what's called a biowheel. This biowheel holds natural bacteria that's beneficial to your tank. And it aids in breaking down waste from your fish, which will go through in your nitrogen cycle. This one also takes cartridges, but it holds media, biological bacteria, in that filter wheel. Then there's this AquaClear, which is a 3-stage filter. It actually has 3 stages of filtration. Foam, which is a mechanical filtration, carbon, which is a chemical filtration, and Biomax, which holds biological media. With this filter, you're only going to really change your carbon once a month, and rinsing out your foam and water from the tank, and your biomax, if you want to rinse it out, you'll rinse it out in tank water as well, so you don't lose beneficial bacteria. Now, what's this beneficial bacteria I keep talking about? It's this stuff that's in Aquarium Step 2. What this bacteria does is it consumes ammonias, nitrites, and converts it into a nitrate. So in a nitrogen cycle, what you're going to have is fish breathing and going to the bathroom in the water, and that gives off ammonia. That ammonia is broken down by a set of nitrifying bacteria in this bottle and converts into a nitrite. Ammonias and nitrites are the most toxic to fish, and you're always going to have ammonia and nitrite in your water. If you don't have enough bacteria, you can get ammonia and nitrite blooms. So that's why we recommend using a natural bacteria supplement. The last step of your nitrogen cycle, after it's converted from a nitrite into a nitrate. Nitrates are a fertilizer for plants, and they cannot be absorbed by anything, so we need to remove them when we do a water change. On smaller tanks like a 10 and a 20-gallon kit, you'll be doing water changes once a week. Not all of your water, but about 20 to 25% of your water should be removed and then treated with your tap water and Step 2 and Step 3 conditioner, and then replenished back into the tank. Another thing that I didn't mention yet are heaters. Some of these kits will come with heaters. Some of the larger ones, 20 gallons and up, come with heaters, but your 10-gallon kits you'll need to buy a heater for. A basic rule of thumb for heaters is 5 watts per gallon of water. So you can see this is a 300-watt heater. This heats up to 80 gallons of water. Some fish like their tank temperatures a little bit warmer than others, and other fish like goldfish and koi fish, they like their water cooler and colder. So you won't need a heater for those types of fish. Other fish like guppies, mollies, platies, different types of tetras and barbs, they like their water warmer. So we need to make sure we get a heater in the tank that's working properly to heat that water up to about 75 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Anywhere in there is what they call a safe zone. Make sure you get a thermometer that goes in the water to measure your temperature. That way you're not overheating your tank. All of these heaters are fully submersible. You'll see that they have a water line on them, and that water line's just really to help gauge how deep it should be. But these can go completely underwater, even the cord can be underwater. Whenever you're putting your heater in the tank, I'm just going to use this one so it's easier to see. When you put your heater in the tank, you can put it on a bit of an angle. This will allow the heating element, which is in the bottom of the heater here, to heat the tank more thoroughly. Putting it near an intake or an output so the water is blowing over it to carry that warm water away will also give you a more thorough temperature in your tank. But with a lot of these heaters, they're fully submersible. You can put them right underwater, and that'll help give you a good temperature throughout the tank. Now, what about lights for our tank? This is a 10-gallon basic kit. It comes with incandescent lights, so basic screw-in old-school type light bulbs. This is a newer LED aquarium, so it uses small LED lights to light the tank, and you get a daylight and a night light version. And then there are fluorescent lights. The good thing about fluorescent lights is they don't cast shadows. They wrap light all the way around ornaments and all the way around plants. Incandescent light, it's not as bright. It's not really good for growing live plants, and it will cast shadows in your tank, so it looks kind of weird. LED lights are really good because they're a really bright light. They give off a very similar spectrum that fluorescent lights will give off, and they use less wattage and they don't heat up as much as a fluorescent light will. So LED lights are a newer type of light for an aquarium. Old school basic lights are an incandescent light, and fluorescent lights are what you would mostly see for more common tanks. With the lighting, lights should be on for about 10, maximum 12 hours a day. You can have them on for 2, 3, 4, doesn't really matter. It's all up to you, but a maximum of 12 hours of light exposure so you don't get too much algae growth with too much waste in your water. When adding fish into your aquarium, after you've got it all set up with your water conditioned, your gravel in, your ornaments all in place where you want them, you can go ahead and add fish in. You want to add fish in probably about 3 to 4 days after you've had the tank set up to make sure that the heaters are bringing it up to the proper temperature, your filters are working properly, if you have any plants planted that they're not floating up all the time, and then you can go ahead and add fish. You don't want to add a ton of fish in at once. With a 10-gallon tank, we usually recommend adding about 3 to 4 small fish, about 1-inch fish, into the tank to help start your nitrogen cycle. In larger tanks, you could probably add in about 5 to 6, depending on the size of the tank that you have. Once the fish are in the tank, they're going to start breathing, going to the bathroom, creating ammonia in the water to start your nitrogen cycle off. You want to keep them in there for about a week before adding more, and you can bring us a sample of your water for us to test to make sure that the water is okay, so that you're not putting fish into a polluted ecosystem. So with basic rule of thumb, with a 10-gallon kit, you have 10 inches of fish to work with. 1 inch of fish per gallon of water. So it'll be small, guppies or small tetras. You can have about 7 or 8 of them, and then a few cleaner fish like Corydoras or autocats for cleaning, or even maybe some algae-eating shrimps. In a 20-gallon, you got 20 inches of fish to work with. So you could do some larger fish like barbs or gouramis, even larger types of tetras or rainbow fish or larger mollies. They'll work really well in that type of setup. So that's pretty much your basic knowledge on what you need to get started on a 10-gallon aquarium. If you have any questions or anything, give us a call at the store. We'll be able to help you out over the phone, or even stop in and take a look at all the great products we have to get you started. If you found this video informative and really helpful, check back for other videos. You can go to our website at piscespets.com, or check us out on our YouTube channel to find more videos on tank setup, small animals, birds, all sorts of different things.